What is up there, Workforce? Chris here with Work to Game, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the rebuilding the city of Ishgard. As we kind of do this at some point in the 5.0 series, knowing that Shadowbringers is going to do this, I'm wondering what this looks like. So I want to talk a little bit about what I think it's going to look like, and then what I want it to look like, and then see what you guys think. So what I think it's going to look like is I think it's going to look like exactly all the systems we saw added in Stormblood. So we're going to see, in my opinion, I think we're going to see Doman Enclave with kind of a Zloe type collectibles, where you can turn in collectibles for that. And then I think there may be a daily portion to it or a quest portion that functions a lot like the namazu quests function. Now, the question about this is that inherently leaves out battle classes, and I do think it will. I think that it's basically going to be instanced content that progresses, and as you push through this story, which will be released with a series of patches, you'll see more and more of this city rebuild until eventually everybody does. And then that will be thanks to this side storyline that's totally optional. There might be a couple MSQ quests that help you kind of see what they're doing, but that the real impact and real content will be geared at crafters and gatherers. Now, what I would want it to look like was I would want it to be server-specific progression. So if Sargatanas doesn't turn in enough items, Sargatanas doesn't unlock the new housing district before Genova. I would love to see something like that. I think that it would really give people a sense of ownership. Don't make things too outrageous, but give them a chance to turn things in. Give them items that are desired so that people want to go out and gather, want to go out and craft. The problem with that is that now, yes, you could incorporate battle classes, in my opinion. You could go out and gather things like animal skins, and you could go out and gather different horns and all of that, because those are needed for the different ornamentation and all of that. And you get different rewards based on if it's high quality, normal quality thing, you know, and so on. And those rewards could be things like tokens that give you boosted experience or help you automatically go back and level those old beast tribes, and any content that you may have missed. There's a lot of people who don't have all their reputation capped with their old beast tribes, or they don't have glamour to old expansions, things like relic weapons, things like old raids. And so this would be a really neat way to say, hey, we've got these things in the storehouse. I don't know if you've seen them. They're pretty epic stuff. And because you've been turning this in, we're going to give you access to this. They could even offer reworks of old things. So like when you talk about the Dogos, we've got a series of Dogos. Imagine if they said, okay, and now there's another Dogo that's been added just for this to kind of complete that collection. And so I would love to see them do something like that. I think that's a lot bigger undertaking than just reusing existing systems. And so I don't think that's what they're going to do, but I do think the city of Ishgard is going to change how many people want to craft and gather. And I think that the 60 to 70 grind was made so easy because they wanted people to get through it and get them to cap. Once they get to 60, it's really simple to level those up. And so I would love to see more people in namazu. How do we do that? We make it really easy to level. And so I think that they're going to be making a big push into that to get more people crafting, more people gathering. They're really unique systems that at high level function so differently than every other game I've ever played, that I would love to see more people at least try them. And you've got to get that investment, that initial buy-in, to be less intimidating if you want people who aren't naturally drawn to that type of content to want to dig in their heels and get it done. And so I think that they need to inherently rework the way that crafting and gathering feels as you level it up, and they need to go back and find a way to make that more engaging, and find a way, maybe that's a rework of the challenge log, really encourage them to dive into these classes, a rework of supply and provisioning, a rework of just some little systems, the way experience works, the different items and consumables you can have, the different gear that's available, some minor adjustments so that people are encouraged to get those characters all the way up, and then give them this content that says, hey, if you engage with this, you're going to get some really, really cool stuff. So that's kind of my thoughts. I don't know what you guys think. It's not a horribly kind of urgent discussion. It's not something that I think we're going to get really early on in the expansion. I think it'll be more like a 5.2, 5.3 edition. And then we'll see it kind of ramp up. And then by the city will be rebuilt by the time we talk about 5.5. And so I would think it would go through a series of iterations, but maybe it won't. Maybe it'll follow the exact pattern Doman Enclave did. So I don't remember exactly when Doman Enclave started and the pace exactly when it became completable, but as far as like dates within relative to the expansion, but maybe that's exactly their plan. They have followed patterns like this before, and so I don't know. I don't know what that should look like, and I don't know what that will look like. But I do know that the fact that we're getting housing tied behind it, it needs to be sooner rather than later. And the fact that they're saying that we are going to have a role in it, I hope is more than just lip service. I hope it's more than just, if you want these cool items, you can do it along the way, but it's going to progress with or without you. I would love to see some player agency in that. Really cool would be if they had things like, oh, I turned in pink drapes when they asked for drapes, and the server as a whole turned in pink drapes, and this other server turned in blue drapes, and so your Ishgard looks inherently different than mine. But now I'm just tossing pie in the sky ideas. That would never happen, but it would be super cool if we could have that kind of effect where for the rest of time, the players who took part in this defined the material choices, defined the color scheme of their Ishgard, and they owned it, and you can literally go somewhere and be like, I did that. I worked so hard on my weaver with my free company, and we actually spammed the crap out of this certain color so that these drapes would appear that way. Or this room is themed after the adders because the most things got turned in for the adder grand company turn in, or however that system works, as opposed to on your server that's a flames themed room. And so I would love to see that level of player agency. I don't know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments below what you think the rebuilding should look like, and kind of just this total restructure where we build a housing district. How does that unlock? What's available to battle classes? What's available to gatherers? What's available to crafters? And how does it work if you choose not to engage as opposed to if you do? What do those rewards look like, and what do you miss out on if you never get around to it? My name's Chris with Work to Game. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you next time.